and y'all got wheels to roll. Let's go to our guest.
Man, there it is, dude. Yeah, give her a nice intro, Lonzo.
All right, folks. I was in Sacramento a couple of weeks ago, and I met this lady. She only got one dimple. That was the first thing I noticed. But when I met her in person, we had several Zoom calls. Her whole thing was civil rights, and I was trying to understand why. And then once I met her, and on the ride from the airport, I realized she started telling me her story. And I'm gonna let her tell you her story, but her story was one of injustice and redemption. And I'm gonna bring her on the show right now. Her name is Liz Kim. How you doing there, Liz?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks
You
for
never
having
did find another dimple, did you? Nope. Liz, you told me an interesting story on the way to the venue from the airport, how you got caught with some weed, and it turned your life around, but it also turned you around. Tell us that story, will you please?
Yeah. So, I had other dreams, other goals in life. I was actually in art school studying to be a film director. And at the age of 19, I was unfortunately pulled over by law enforcement and had less than an eighth of weed. But because I had a scale with no priors, I was convicted of intent to sell felony. Changed my whole life. I did not know my rights. I was also someone who had left home and emancipated at the age of 16. So I was on my own without real guidance. And so unfortunately, I took the charge. I had to plead. I fought it in court, trying to find a lawyer. I had several public defenders. Everybody, if you've been through the system, you know what that feels like and what that's like. And without knowing your rights and not having any legal background, you end up taking the charge because you're just tired of going to court every month and being threatened with the maximum sentence, which is a 3-year prison stint. So at 19, what are you going to do? So I took the conviction, was charged and convicted and served. I was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, served 9 months of that time. And then I served another a year out of custody in an out of custody program, and vowed that I would go to law school and learn my rights, because it just wasn't fair that I took a felony at such a young age with no priors. I knew I was getting screwed, so I didn't appreciate that. And then what I learned during that time was it wasn't just me, it was a lot of people who were done an injustice, not knowing their rights. And so it changed my whole trajectory. I forgot everything else and just really needed to get on this path of knowing what my rights were, and had to start all over in school because I was in art school at the time studying film, so none of it was transferable. So I went to JC, finished out my JC, went to Davis, studying in communication and pre-law. And it was a long journey, because when you have a felony on your record, you're looked at with a stigma. People don't want to hire you. They don't want to give you student loans. You have to basically argue for your integrity the whole way through. And after a long time trying to get my degrees, I was fortunate enough to get an internship at the state capitol right after graduating from Davis, which helped me be eligible for law school. I had a lot of legislators write letters of recommendation for me, and a lot of internships and working for free in the legislature really helped me out, and volunteering with a lot of nonprofits helped me out. But it was really for that mission of helping other people like me, not just me, but other people in the community. And then I learned about this whole mass incarceration issue where, it's an exception to slavery since the 13th Amendment, happened, and they get free labor out of it, so it's not just because they don't like me, it's because they make money off forcing us into prisons. And so that's what I teach now. I've made it. I went to law school, and again, I could talk to you about all the hardships that I went through over the last 15 years. But the bright line victory in all of this is that I was able to graduate successfully, become a lawyer. Now I teach social justice and communication in various junior colleges and at UC Davis here in Sacramento and Davis. And my whole thing is civil rights now. It's all about, advocating for people to know their rights and to get a legal education, or at least make friends with lawyers or have access to lawyers who can advocate for you. And that's how I got tied in with you, Grandmaster Lonzo. And a lot of people don't realize, but hip hop and civil rights are hand in hand. And the reason why is because the music is a big component of how they drive mass incarceration. You know, record labels have a stock interest in, you know, the maximum capacity being filled in prisons. So that's something that people don't talk about. And so that's why I wanted to call you out to Sacramento to talk to the youth about why hip hop is a key component in civil rights and what you've done for the community through your music.
Thank you. I
Wow.
I was totally blown away, and she told me she worked for the DOJ now. Like, damn, that's a big climb up from being locked. How long were you in jail?
9 months. So, you know, luckily I was
Wow. For less than an eighth of weed, that amazes me.
right at 19. And
Wow.
and I'm not the worst case. There's people who do life sentences for drug offenses, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just a little slap on the wrist. But let me tell you, going through that experience though is really, really unfair, you know, and it really does impact you to this day. I mean, I've been hired at the state bar only for them to scan my fingerprints and learn about my felony and fire me in 2 weeks just because they didn't like that. So for me to pass my background at DOJ was a day that brought me to my knees and cried, because I knew that something in the universe told me that this is where I'm supposed to be. And it was a place that I didn't think that I would be able to get hired at. So it is a blessing to be there today.
Ah,
Wow.
this story makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Please
Sure.
do.
You mentioned that, when you did get pulled over and arrested, you didn't know anything about the law. What were some of the mistakes that you made when you were pulled over, and maybe during the trial, that you wish you could have changed? And maybe you can give some advice to people who are getting pulled over to this day so they know what to do, what to say, what not to say.
Yeah, it goes back to what you both started the show off with, is that we get so emotional and we just can't think straight. And even now, as a lawyer, we always forget, do not say a word to law enforcement. I'm not here to poo-poo on anyone, but it's not for you to fight the law on the streets. It's just not. So at the time, I was there trying to defend myself, explain myself, tell the officer, oh, it's just an eighth, this and that. And so all that gets put in this report, and you don't have a say in how that report is written. And so when you're trying to fight that after the fact in court, all the statements you've just said is being used against you, and they flip it and they slice and dice it, and you don't have a control in the narrative anymore. So the best thing to do for anybody that gets pulled over or comes across law enforcement of any kind, do not speak. To put it bluntly, just shut your mouth. Ask for an attorney, and you have to invoke your right to be silent. So you have to saying nope or nuh-uh. None of that is sufficient. You have to say, I want to exercise my right to be silent, or I invoke my right to be silent, and I want an attorney now. So, and end it there, because people get emotional and they try to argue with the police, and that's just not going to get you anywhere.
I've had because most people don't realize cops wear recorders. They can't remember. They can't remember everything they say. They wear recorders. They wear vocal. They used to wear before they wore cameras. They wore audio recorders. So as they're talking to you, they're recording what you're saying, and then they take that and write their report. I didn't even realize that until I tried to talk my way out of a ticket. And when I finally got to court about a year later, I extended everything I possibly could. That cop, he repeated everything I said verbatim. I'm like, how in the hell did my cousin, who's a cop, said we all wear recorders? So we got to remember what you said. We're gonna play it back to you. So if you don't say nothing, they can't record nothing. And if you tell them, hey man, I want to talk, I need my lawyer. I can't do this. I'm officer. Here's my license, registration. Anything else? I don't ask the questions. I don't search. You can't search my car. Nope. And anything else? I need my lawyer.
Yeah, and also don't rely on those recorders either. The MVARs, which is on the CHP, the patrol cars, the videos, they really play games when you ask for that. So when you make a motion to request it in a trial, they play all kinds of games to not give it to you if it doesn't help their case. So don't rely on that. It's better for you if you're one of those people who have a propensity to getting pulled over like I do. Get yourself a dash cam and rely on your own records and not on theirs, because they can slice and dice it. Some parts of the video can be damaged, in quotations. They can really work with the evidence, tamper the evidence. So don't rely on their equipment to help your own case.
Now, you know what? I'm gonna say something. I'm not even promoting this because although I'm a affiliate, but I bought Legal Shield.
Mm.
On the Legal Shield app, there is a button that you can push while you're talking to a cop, and they will get an attorney on the phone right then and there. You got about 3 or 4 rings, but I tell everybody, be careful how you push that button because you don't want that phone to be mistaken as a gun, and that's the you're sitting there slumped over in your seat with holes in your ass. Okay, but they have there are that's not the only person that has that. There's another company, I believe, also that has a button that will send you straight to a lawyer 24 hours a day. And you want to speak to my attorney? He is right here on the phone. Officer, here's my phone. Talk to my attorney. And, usually, especially with youngsters, they know you don't know the law. And they play you every time. And you'll mess around there and say some shit trying to get out of a ticket and get yourself deeper in trouble.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Liz, where were you locked? This is a 2-part question. Where were you locked up? And can you share some of the horrible experiences that you had to go through during those 9 months in jail?
Yeah, I was arrested. I saw some of the questions in the chats in 2004. I fought it to about 2006. Actually, no, 2004. I got locked up in 2005. I was released by 2006. So it was like a 2-year ordeal right before I was like all said and done with it. This was in Santa Clara County here in Northern California. I went to Elmwood Correctional Facility. As soon as, first of all, they play all those games where when you get locked up, they lock you in a holding cell for 4 minimum hours just to wear you psychologically down, right? And you don't know like when you're going to get transferred to the next room, when you're going to get booked. So they take their sweet time. So I just remember the first 4-6 hours that you're committing yourself in once you've remanded yourself to serve the time, you're just already going crazy because you're just in a room with nothing for hours and hours and hours. So that's how it starts. And then when you get placed, I was actually misplaced. So they put me in the wrong cell with unconvicted felons, whereas I should be serving out my sentence. So I lost the first 3 weeks just being misplaced in a place I wasn't supposed to be in. So I'm there just going crazy, trying to knock on the window. COs are ignoring you, and you're trying to tell them like, hey, I'm in the wrong place. All the people are making fun of me because they're like, aha, they put you in a place and they forgot about you. And I'm like wondering like, how is my sentence going to, start counting? Just bullshit like that. And then of course, every time I have someone visiting to bring me contacts because I wear glasses, they make you go into a holding cell. They do the whole cavity search. They make you bend over, cough, they pat you and all that stuff. So just real degrading. And I always say like, you doing time enough is punishment enough. They don't have to treat you like an animal. And they really do that. I mean, they put you in lockdown, solitary confinement if you're non-compliant. Of course, I tried my best to be compliant, so I'm not going to say that I was trying to be tough getting in fights or anything like that, but just the sheer degradation of, being searched in that manner. And then, then once I finally got placed into the right cell, I did a program. It was a paramilitary program because they promised me that I would get out earlier if I did this military boot camp type program in custody. Well, I didn't get out in time. They lied about that. So everything they tell you is not something you can count on. They'll tell you all these things and just miss filing your paperwork. So I actually spent 3 more months than I was supposed to. And what are you going to do about that, right? Sue, the state because you were, misclassified? None of that matters. So you're at their goodwill, and if they like you, they'll care about filing the stuff, that kind of thing. And then breakfast is served at like 2:50 a.m. If you miss that, you don't get breakfast. No cold water, no nothing. It's all like, just frozen foods. Fights break out. Sometimes they ignore it. So they just let it kind of play out until everyone's done getting beat up. And then they come back and then they write people up, roll people up, that kind of thing. So.
Not a nice
man.
Not a nice place, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to figure out why so many people can't wait to get there. I just don't understand that.
Especially in hip hop.
It's like, they just can't. Oh my God. What's about Kodak Black? He got caught again with some dumb shit. And he just got out recently. And I'm like, damn, dude, you gonna go right back again? And I think at some point in time, the stigma and the what I'm looking for, the stigma and the negative after effects have gone away. In fact, if you do enough time, you can get a reality show. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's more important than being on the streets and making your money, because you gonna, like Brad, she came out, she did a reality, she been balling ever since she got out of jail. She been balling ever since she got out of jail. She came out with a reality show and been on TV or radio and everything. Every move she makes is newsworthy, and she was kind of forgotten about before she went to jail.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
nuts.
Liz.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because I had the opportunity to interview a lot of ex-prisoners on my show, Dusty Vision TV. And one common theme that I've heard, and something that you mentioned earlier, is that prison is modern day slavery. Can you give us a few examples of how prison is modern day slavery?
Yeah, so everyone thinks, oh, we're just going to serve our time, and it's, for deterrence of crime and all that, blah blah. No, so I now work for DOJ, which is a state agency, and I've worked at a different state agency prior to DOJ. I worked at Department of Insurance for 8 years in the Capitol. From the Capitol down to all state agencies and county offices to city offices, every government official agency is required to go through a bargaining contract to purchase all office supplies, things like chairs, computers, tables, things that, create the entire state agency infrastructure is built by inmates. Inmates are working at less than $2 per hour. It's forced labor. They don't have a choice. They're told to do this. And so why on earth would they try to fix a mass incarceration problem when they are producing all of the state office supplies that they need for state agencies by inmates at cheap labor? So that's one example. Firefighters, they're forced to fight fires at, again, less than $2 an hour. They don't have a choice. It's not like, oh yeah, I want to volunteer to do that because I care about the honor of fighting fires. California has some of the worst fires every single year in the whole country, and inmates are sent out front line to fight those fires at less than $2 an hour. Another example of modern day slavery. We just had a Senate bill that was introduced last month to get rid of this exception of involuntary servitude in our California Constitution. Senators voted that down. We lost by 2 votes because they know the fiscal impact this is going to have if we get rid of that clause in our California Constitution of getting rid of involuntary servitude as an exception to slavery. That's where we're at.
Do we know the 2 assholes that didn't vote for it?
I'll get you the names, Lonzo, because it's the Republicans, and it's a public record. So,
but here we go now, and this is one of the things that I have to stress, and I feel like an old man trying to get some folks to learn some shit, and that's some hard shit to do. That's why I'm bringing you on, somebody that's been through the. I've been to jail a long time ago. I ain't trying to go back to one of those stories, but it's important that you vote. People, your vote don't count. Bullshit. But your vote don't count. Oh man, how they gonna do? No. It's a numbers game. And when you say so many people vote for this person right here, it ain't. When you state and local elections, especially city elections, are won by a handful of votes. Okay, ain't no electoral college in the mayoral race. Ain't no electoral college in the city councilman race. It's straight numbers. Okay, so if you are voting and you put enough senators in place to do some things can get done. Okay, I'm witnessing that in the city of Compton right now, where I see things have changed and things are getting done because citizens got out and made things happen. So don't let nobody tell you your vote don't count. The national vote is a little bit different because you got a lot of people who ain't never seen people look like nobody on the screen before. They don't know nothing about no Asian people, no black people. They don't care about none of that shit. All they know is this is what I know. That's what I'm voting for. But there's a lot more people that do know. So, and if people understand the purpose of the electoral college, that was to give the plantation,
smaller states,
smaller states, sometimes and plantation owners a chance to balance out the vote, because at one point in time there was more slaves and more black people than it was landowners. So they had to come up with some kind of way to create some kind of balance, which is outdated. Outdated, should have been gone a long time ago, but that's another show. Meanwhile, in California, folks is going to jail with pride, coming out with parties and pride. And I'm trying to understand, how do you do that, man? Come on, man. That ain't, you should be hood. I've always, I'm finna say some shit now that's gonna get me in trouble. I've always felt, look, I understand there's a certain honor about belonging to something, whether it's the Masons, a frat, a fraternity, or whatever the case may be. And I had this idea. What if we were able to take the violence out of the gangbanging and made it like a fraternity? And you the fraternal order of Bloods, fraternal order of Crips. And instead of being so proud of how many guys you got on the main line, how many guys you got graduating this year? How many guys you got in college this year? Okay? How many guys you got going to business school? How many businesses you got coming out your hood? That is a dream. I know I sound like Martin Luther King now. That is my dream. That one day all men will be fraternity brothers in love, not in war. Hoods will not kill each other over bullshit. Where my music at? Hold on, let me get some music here. Let me get some music. That hoods will not be killing each other over bullshit. That brothers will come together and become a fraternal order of brothers promoting success and entrepreneurialism in the hood so that we can all stop ducking these goddamn bullets at night.
All them bullets at night.
You know, man, that shit is so fucking crazy. But again, because we accept it, I said this in Sacramento, we accept it. It's something that we learned to accept after a while. We learned to accept all kind of shit. We learned to accept chitlins and pigtails and pig feet. And people still eat that shit. They still accept it today. It's still a delicacy to some people. But we don't have to. You don't have to eat pig asses. You don't have to eat pig guts. You know, try something else. Get some soup. God damn.
Real.
But you put some barbecue sauce on it, they can sell you a pig's ass. Okay. So if you stop accepting certain things, if we stop accepting certain things in our community, certain things will disappear. Trust me. I tell you what, and I said this before, I said in Sacramento, as gentrification starts to take place in various communities, you'll see a whole new attitude towards the hood, because some people are going to call the police and they're going to show up and they're going to testify. Ain't going to be none of that I ain't snitching shit. They don't care. They come into court. They don't care about your hood. They don't know nothing about your hood. All they know is you broke into my car. I saw you, busted your ass, for going to jail. Okay? And I know that can be hard for some people. Oh man, because I was brought up this way, bruh. It's a ton of opportunities out here to get things done, but you're making some of the wrong choices.
Let me ask you, Liz, because it still amazes me that just a short 15 or so years ago, whatever it was, that you did 9 months for less than an eighth of marijuana. Legalizing marijuana has always been a topic of discussion. What are your thoughts on the evolution of the weed laws and how it's pretty much you could smoke in front of a cop now without anything happening?
So I'm really torn on this. I was really torn when I voted for it, and I'm still torn on it today. I'm actually a social equity officer for Crazy Bone and his foundation, Leaves of Legend. So this is something that I'm really studying a lot, and compliance is everything with cannabis law currently. I do like that, it's little decriminalization of drugs of any kind, I think, is in a healthier direction than to criminalize, right? But what I don't like about it is that there's not enough protections to make it so that there's equity, meaning that people that have a lot of money, even a cannabis brand that Jay-Z is endorsing and is a part of here in Sacramento, they're closing their doors. We got that announcement last week. Because of the competition, the sheer competition of millions of dollars being pumped in to the competition in the cannabis industry is making it so that people like me still have the felony, even though it's expunged. When I get a fingerprint done, it shows, right? So what that means is expungement doesn't really help any of us. Entities like DOJ and FBI, if they ever scan my fingerprints, they could still see that I had a felony. So they're not doing anything about that. But all these millionaires and billionaires pumping lots and lots of money into this is buying out the entire industry of cannabis, and little mom and pops are never going to make it. So, another way that they flip the script on us to where they gain and we don't. So if not criminalization, then it's capitalism. So they're still getting us in some other way, and that's not fair. So going back to what Lonzo is saying, it's really about voting. It's also about running. We need us, our people, to be running into to these positions, changing the laws where they need to, and stop making it so difficult for us to make it, in our community. I just want to add quickly, our taxpayer dollars pay for everything, right? An inmate, it costs $60,000 to house an inmate a year. A Harvard education only costs $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
So just think about that. So all we have to do is have people like us three here and the lovely people in the chat rooms to run for office, change a couple of laws so that if you get locked up, you get a Harvard education. If you're going to be spending $60,000 on an inmate, you might as well give them a Harvard degree, right? So just an idea like that. If we ran with that, we can make some change.
I work with a lot of reentry groups, and that's why we click when you pick me up in the airport. We clicked. I work with a lot of reentry groups, and I hear a lot of stories about brothers. First of all, I promote programs that work with felons coming out of jail, and I it's amazing to me how many programs they have when you get out of jail. My question is, can we bypass the jail part and help a brother out? Can we bypass the handcuffs and the felony and just give a brother a hand? Why? Because everybody don't learn the same way. Everybody don't have the same opportunities. I understand that. And sometimes brothers try some shit they know damn well they ain't gonna be good at. But right now it seems like it's just something to try. It's another experience. But when you come through that experience because you got a felony or you've been in jail. I remember hearing a commercial on KGLH, a local radio station. If you had a felony or been in jail, even for one day, or even in the child protective custody, we have a special program for you. Okay, like goddamn, why you gotta have bad luck like that to get some good luck? It's like your mama and daddy had to be on some drugs or something, or you had to get snatched from your family for whatever, even for a day, to get some benefits. And I don't see a whole lot of programs that benefit you. I mean, like I said, when I'm doing these we got these big rooms full of different vendors, and if you are a felon, you can get free housing, you can get free college, you can get a computer, you can get bus tokens, you can get food tokens, you get all kind of stuff. We'll get you, we'll dress you. We can do everything but stick a USB drive up your ass and download the information. Only thing we can't do, okay? You got to show up. But then you got guys that telling you, oh, man, I can't go to Compton College because the bus got to ride through so-and-so hood, and I don't know who's going to be on the bus. Come on, man. Can we give ourselves a pass on the bus just so we can get an education? Can we give ourselves, and here again, imagine if some white boys was on the bus telling brothers they couldn't go to Compton College.
Oh, we'd be picketing, we'd be uproar, we'd be going crazy over that.
Imagine some white boys on the bus line telling brother, oh man, y'all can't go to Compton College, man, because y'all gonna get smart and y'all ain't gonna do this banging shit no more. I'm like, dude, do you know how asinine that sounds? But man, I don't want to get killed. I don't want to see you get killed, man. But that's why we have to do something to try and curtail the attitude and the mindset of the brothers out in the street. So that, man, can a kid get a pass go to get an education? Can a kid get an educational pass? Used to be a time you can get that.
Right.
If you was a backpack kid or a ball player kid or carrying the baseball bat, all right, he ain't with it. Let him go. Okay, he ain't with this. Let him go. But nowadays, everybody's up for grabs, and that's the part I think is really sad, and it's really sad.
Oh man, Liz, you are so awesome. Your story of redemption and comeback is one that I hope changes some lives. The chat seems to really have enjoyed your story. Would you share with us where everyone can find you if you would like to do that in case they need or want your services or anything like that?
Yeah, my website is Organized Voices. That's my nonprofit. I also have a podcast there, powered by Chuck D. I can be found on Instagram at Still Busy Lizzie, just the way that it sounds, Still Busy Lizzie. And that's really where I'm at. I'm also on Instagram for Organized Voices, just the way it sounds. You can find information on Know Your Rights trainings, our upcoming shows. They're all related to hip hop and civil rights. We talk about prevention of gun and gang violence, and of course, how to sue the police, how to sue the government, and many other topics like that. So if you want to keep in touch, you can find me in those places.
So, folks, look here. Y'all very but I do all kind of stories, but every once in a while, somebody I just meet in passing, just I needed her to share this story with y'all today. Now, my boy on STEM Radio says he wants to. He was watching. He was doing his laundry. Didn't catch the whole thing. If you did not catch this whole story, it's going to be on my my YouTube channel. But also, if you download my app, it'll be up in about 45 minutes. On my app, the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce app, available on iTunes, iPhone and Android. I got an app now, folks. It's for my new business, the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. That's what I'm about these days. I still do Lyrical Revolution. I'm still the Godfather of West Coast hip hop, but I see a bigger opportunity being the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce. That's why I have an app to support that. And all my videos that I do with people of Compton and ones I do with Dusty and the ones I do with Dre will be on that app. So you ain't got to go looking for them. They'll be right there. And I upload them as soon as we get through. And also we on Spreaker and iTunes. We everywhere. It's just a matter of how you want to find me. So Liz, thank you, darling. I appreciate you. I've got nothing but respect for you and your fight. And I like to see somebody when they have a fight and they win. Okay.
Right.
I like to see somebody when they win, okay? And you know, everybody. I'm gonna give Liz a little something right quick. Where's my good stuff at?
No marijuana, please. She's already been in trouble for that.
You know what? No marijuana. But yes, it's all good. I'm glad to see you a winner, and that's what I try to teach people. Man, just because you get kicked in the ass don't mean you gotta stop fighting, okay? She got kicked in the ass. They stole one of her dimples, and she's still fighting. That's our inside joke, folks. That's our
Can you give out your podcast name one more time, please? I want to check it out, and there's some people that might want to.
Yeah, organizedvoices.com, www.organizedvoices.com. I'm also on YouTube. I was on Spotify, but we're launching. We shut it down for season 2. We're launching in the next month, so stay tuned. You can find me on Instagram at Organized Voices and Still Busy Lizzie. So
thank you so much. We're going to be in touch for sure. I would love to have you on my program as well.
Thank you so much.
Please do. I'm looking to bring Gary Ballin next week, man. Jerry Heller's cousin to the show. I'll be bringing more guests in the show, folks. I know me and Dusty kick it real good, but sometimes you got to hear somebody else's stories.
This was a good break in the monotony. I like this.
Thank you. Liz, thank you, darling. Dusty, much love to you. I will see everybody in the near future. And like I say all the time, folks, this is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. If I can't drop no game, I don't want to drop nothing. Anyway, folks, I'm out of here till next week. Thank you for watching. Please, y'all, download the app, Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce on iPhone and Android. And I'm out of here till next week. Much love to my guests and my co-hosts, Dusty Vision and Liz Kim. Peace.